Everybody, can you hear me? Everybody, it's DC Sun. It's been a while to be online, and yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys as well. New York, nice. Um, it's been a while. A lot's been going on. Had Tokyo Comic Con, filmed all of that, and did a basically all of the footage for that, or most of the footage for that. Did all of the main interviews with the cast members and the talent that visit artists and such. It was a nice change to have the Comic Con here in Japan for once. And as far as things are going now, we'll have that from here on out. Next year will be bigger and better. What's up, Joseph? Good to see you. Hope you guys can hear me well. The connection here seems to be pretty strong, but for whatever reason, the video is having a bit of a lag. As long as you can get the audio, you can't hear me. Okay, let's see. One sec. Why is that? Can you guys hear me now? How about now? Must be a lag. Hello? Can you hear me now? I feel like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Yeah, but by contract, I'm all SoftBank. So, anyways, great. So, as I was saying, it's been a while. It's good to see you guys. Hope everyone is having or have had a really good holiday. Merry Christmas to you guys. Uh, Spending time with family and friends is important, and hopefully you guys were able to do so. If not, hope you will at least by New Year's. Um, from the time of the con, just before the con, up until about last night, roughly, has just been pretty full-on work. I've had a couple of chances to meet up with Akasan and do some reactions and things with him, which is nice. Also with Wonder Woman World of Cali. So that was great. And if they are there, Merry Christmas to you guys as well. Hey, what's up, Manoj? How you doing? So Comic Con, Tokyo Comic Con was an experience. I've been to several cons stateside, but we've never had one here per se. The HollyCon, the Hollywood convention that we have here in Tokyo, isn't as big as it is there. Um, so that was a bit of a downer, but for people coming from outside um, Japan. But as far as the Tokyo Comic Con, and thanks for asking, um, Tokyo Comic Con was great. Given there are a lot of companies that were involved, but also very hesitant about how to go about organizing and doing things for the con. So it wasn't as big as like the San Diego Comic Con or the New York Comic Con, but that's okay. We're getting there. The fact of the matter is, we were able to get this con going, several hurdles and things, but we were able to overcome all of those and get the con up going. People were able to attend and enjoy it, and the feedback was tremendous. So we'll be having it again next year, and next year will be amazing because it's going to be 2.5, almost 3 times bigger than it was this year, with a lot of things coming up. I will be posting on my channel as well as the Tokyo Comic Con website as well throughout the year, leading up from anything going from people who will be attending as guests, information, prizes, um, events, exhibitions, cosplay, the whole nine. Any and everything dealing with the con, I'll be doing that from here on out because I'll be doing the official media for that. So keep uh, I'll keep you guys updated. As far as autographs from the con, I got an autograph from Stan Lee, which was great. This is the second one, as well as some photos. Babs, who I really, really have to say thank you to. She's one of my favorite artists. She's doing the artwork for Batgirl and several other titles right now, including one of her own, which was amazing. She's a fantastic artist. Um, a lot, actually. I got quite a few autographs. So I had a really good time. If you guys didn't make it out here this year, I definitely think that you should come out next year because it will be uh, worth it. It'll be worth the trip. Just so much going on. Got a few people planned, several big names, whether they be artists, talent, and or both. I can't officially tell you guys yet, unfortunately, but keep your eyes peeled. Also, there are several movie projects that are coming out next year that I will be keeping you guys posted on, that I'm involved in, from the production side, the acting side, and or both. So I will be keeping you guys abreast of that as well. TV shows and wrap-ups. I know it's been a while. I had a lot of video that's backed up in editing, and one of my computers crashed, so I decided to go ahead and try and get out this live stream and just give a full wrap-up. Unboxing. I will have an unboxing next week, actually, right after the new year. That'll be for Hot Toys. Hot Toys is one of those that I've done and edited and need to have it posted. So I will go ahead and do that after the new year as a New Year special because it's one of my favorite companies. I've done artwork and things for them as well as just enjoying their products. I've got two Kotobukyo ones that are up now with another two coming out. So there'll be like a total of 3 or 4 unboxings that I'll have coming out. So keep looking forward for that. Walking Dead, Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, all these big shows and crossovers and things has kept me really busy in between work. The crossovers that we had this past season was fantastic. Unfortunately, we're in mid-season break, so I'm like freaking out because I miss my shows. But as far as the Walking Dead goes, that being a mid-season finale, I'm enjoying the show. I'm having a bit of a mixed feeling on what direction the show is or should go in, from the viewer standpoint. I know it's a slow burn. I know it's on purpose. But there's some parts that could be either cleaned up or just moved along just a tad bit faster, just because there are parts of it that feel like they're dragging a bit. Given I know it's part of the story and what's going on, but still, that's something that could just, I don't know, pick up a bit. On the movie side, Rogue One has been fun. I've seen it several times with several different groups of people, work-wise and other, and people's reactions are very similar and very, very different here. No spoiler, but some of my friends are just heartbroken at what happens in parts of the movie, and some of my friends are so elated. They're like, I can't wait for episode 8. So it's really, really awkward to see how people's reactions go. Which is my favorite show from the crossover, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, or Legends? That is a very tough question to answer because the writing for these 4 shows this season has been really good. It's gotten much stronger, much deeper, and very emotional. I'll say with Arrow, dealing with Oliver and Diggle, and then also Black Canary coming back, I think that was some of my favorite parts of the show, as well as during the crossover. I love that crossover when they hit the Arrow side. I don't know, it's just the way they played it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, I feel sorry for Mr. Terrific because he is constantly losing. I understand. You take a few knocks and then you got to get up and keep trying, but it's like he can't win for losing. Um, Flash, Flash has been great. I feel bad for Barry because he's selfishly but unknowingly messed up the timeline for in several ways, and for the masses. There's no way to really overcome that. I understand why they're doing it with the character. I do hope that he can get over it and eventually have other speedsters on there to the point where they can find a way to not fit, find a way to get rid of Savitar permanently, as well as move forward. The time the time travel between Flash and Legends of Tomorrow is interesting because you're looking at it and parts of it seem like they're contradicting each other and parts of it seem like it's right. They're synced. So it's kind of hard to say. Okay, be right back in 2 minutes. No problem. Um, Supergirl. Supergirl has been great. I like what they're doing with the characters. They're filling out the characters, giving them more depth. Story wise, is becoming more interesting. I didn't get the chance to watch the mid season promo for next year when it comes back on yet, but I have heard a few things, and her losing her power seemed like something that was going to happen because they've done it with Superman in both the TV versions and the movie, so it's gonna happen, I guess. Um, Supergirl has been good. Honestly, I enjoyed all four, and almost equally, I enjoyed Legends because the action has become better. The stories have been a bit racier when they're dealing with topics of history itself and race between people. I thought they handled that very well. Supergirl, emotional and powerful. Flash and Arrow has been really good in its baselines and bringing the core characters closer to each other while also pulling them apart at the same time. I hope that answered the question. I know it didn't really. If you had a choice, which of the show would you make an appearance for? At least one season you're on. That's a hard question because I am a CW person. I honestly want to be on one of the CW superhero based TV shows. I would probably push more for. That's a toughie. Um, Flash and Arrow tied, and then Supergirl and Legends. That's a tough one, man. That's a good question because Flash, you're looking at metahumans on a more regular basis, and I would love to play a metahuman, if not a Kryptonian. That would just be awesome. Val Zod, that'd be great. Yeah, that would work on Flash. With sorry, it's dry in here. With Arrow, Arrow would be cool, but the only downside to being on Arrow, not sure if the show can handle having multiple metahumans on there. I think it's the one show that has like a light mix of them. So yeah, I'd say Flash, Arrow mainly because I'd love to work with Diggle. Um, Supergirl Legends, yeah, that kind of thing. Legends because you can pretty much do what you want to with the timeline, but in the opposite direction you could do the same thing with Flash, and they're going to multiple Earths, and that's something I like. So yeah, Felzad Superman, I'd love to play that character, or even Green Lantern. That'd be great. And if they're like, hey, look, we can't get the rights to those characters, I don't know, how about Black Lightning, or even a stretch Black Adam? I'll I'll go for that. That's fine. Or Shazam. Those are interesting characters. How about you? What character would you pick in which show? As far as the movies go, I am looking forward to Wonder Woman, mainly because it's one of my favorite characters. I know, right? Sweet. I would love that. I'd love to roll on that show. Yes, I'm looking for. Hey, Otis. I'm very much looking forward to Wonder Woman because she's one of my favorite characters from childhood. Um, I People that may not know, my childhood was mainly spent in back and forth between Europe and the States. So I was in Italy and Germany for a good portion of my life, and growing up, where I could read in the history books about the Colosseum and other places throughout Italy and Germany and other places in Europe, and actually go outside and see it. I was very fortunate that my parents just so happened to have work in that area, and I was able to go at that time. It left a really big impression on me. And at the same time, comic books having characters that I could really relate to, not just as a person, but hey, I'm reading this in history, and then hey, look, this seems like it's influenced by this, and they're using that building there and that kind of thing. It really resonated with me. I grew up reading both DC and Marvel. I like both properties, but I'd say the reason I feel somewhat stronger towards DC because of the way the writing was and what was available to me when I was a kid. Um, but I like both of them because for me, DC characters feel like they're pulled from human history, sometimes magic. But then you also have, on the Marvel side, things are really pushed more towards science. So, it's interesting how both both sides appeal to people in different yet the same way. They cross over. Wow, I'm not an experienced actor. I have no say. Oh, dude. Hey, you know what? Some of the best actors don't know until they try it. So, hey, it's okay. Um, how to meet Akasan? Well, it's funny you say that. I met Akasan years ago through mutual friends, and we were talking online for the longest time. We were supposed to meet up for the first time when Man of Steel came out in Korea. But what ended up happening is I ended up going. I had work there anyway. I purposely booked the meeting so I could have another reason for going other than just to see the movie because otherwise get in trouble. So ended up having a meeting for a drama or whatever. I went there and I watched all four formats that they had for Man of Steel, just so I could see what the differences were. And I was in Korea. Supposed to meet him there. He couldn't make it. There's I think something wrong with his flight or whatever. Then after that, came back and we kept just missing each other. So when I finally ended up meeting him in person, that was for BVS or right before BVS. But we've been talking to each other off and on for years, so it's like even when I met him in person, it's like I've known him for a long time. Like it Red Dress to become Red Dread Nation. As fun as that would be, no, mainly because work wise here between the regular commercial work that I do for the largest cell phone company here, knock on wood, I can't have my hair out too long or too short. So that's usually why my hairstyle doesn't change too drastically, unfortunately. And then also when I'm doing movie shoots and things here, I don't have that freedom unless it's dealing with the character per se. So unfortunately, no. I would love to have uh, my braids or cornrows back just because it was fun to have for some of the things I was doing at that time. But no, unfortunately, I can't have red dreads. That and if I had red dreads, I don't think Akasan would be happy. I'd have to have blue because I'm more of a Superman character than a Batman character. I love Batman also, but yeah, that's Akasan. He won't let me do that. That's a funny question. Yeah, well, yeah, I am dreaming about having different hairstyles all the time because just like anything else, you get tired of the same thing. Need change, and as an actor, you like being challenged. So, if that means changing your appearance in any way possible, that's one of the things we look forward to. So I look forward to doing other things all the time. If I'm lucky, if and the schedule and the planning stays the way it is, I'll be in the States come February. Again, knock on wood, for pilot season. So fingers crossed. We'll see. Hoping it works out. A lot going on, and there's a lot of projects that are being picked up here. I've got a lot of work between the Comic Con being done and so on and so forth. There's a lot. You look like you're about to make a sequel to Gravity. Yeah, I wish. Actually, thanks, Drowsy. I actually just read that. That's too funny. Are you worried about Ben having Batman movies because his recent films haven't gotten good ratings? Um, a good question, Otis. And yes, Manoj, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If not, I apologize. Um, yes, I am into gaming. So to answer all those questions, the first one from Drowsy, that's just too funny. Yeah, I'm actually in the office next to the coffee shop that I'm having a shirt collaboration with, or a design collaboration with through my design company, Adet Designs. Um, on the other side, yes, I am into gaming. I love games. Recently, I'm playing Battlefield 1, and I just received my copy of Final Fantasy 15, in which I need to say to Hashimoto-san and Square Enix, "Hontou ni arigatou gozaimashita." For those who may not speak Japanese, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will be testing that out in the next couple of days, also packing up for a move as well. The stuff I'm doing here. So there's a coffee company here called Streamer. Now this is only part of the design. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's part of the collaboration we have with this company, and it's what, like 12, 15 stores, something like that. So it's kind of fun. I've been busy doing that as well as gaming. Are you worried about Ben Affleck movies? So Ben Affleck movies, I'm not too worried about the Ben Affleck movies because between now and then there's several projects in between, so that gives them time to look over it and see what they like. And remember, before movies come out, they usually have people that screen them and then give their impression and feedback. So when that happens, when we get these products that come out and people are like, oh, I don't really like it. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Keep in mind that a lot of times we as an audience, and not from the acting side, as the audience, we actually have seen it, or at least a version of it, and we voted to have these certain things in and out. So that's good and bad. I'm hoping it comes out well because I would like to see other characters in the DC universe fill out. So if it's through a Batman related film, a Superman related film, or Justice League, doesn't matter. I'm happy to see other characters because I think there are characters out there that people are really interested in, not just ours. And when I say not just ours, I mean not just the Trinity. Um, which is a better film, The Force Awakens or Star Trek, the movie? Jesus, first interpretation. That's a good question because The Force Awakens and the first Star Trek movie are actually very similar in their tone and pacing. I think that the first Star Trek movie was actually quite entertaining for people who are not Star Trek fans, for them to go in and enjoy it and come out and they're like, hey, look, this is a really good movie. I enjoyed the pacing, the acting, or whatever. I think that he did a good job as a director, uh, appealing to a general audience. As far as The Force Awakens, I think he did a really good job of doing that. Also, there are people out there that don't like it because it's like there's too many safe factors that are there that remind them of the older Star Wars. But not make an excuse, but keep in mind, from the marketing standpoint, if there aren't things that are similar, um, people don't go see it. They need to see something that's similar. That's why you have big name actors that are pulled for these projects, because if, for example, people didn't like the idea of Scarlett Johansson being there, If she wasn't there and they pulled someone else, the thing is, the other person that they would have put there didn't have enough name power, so they needed to put someone that they thought would draw enough attention. So it's a coin toss. What we get an office tour? You can. It's actually pretty standard. There's just nothing special about the office, but yeah, sure. Give me a second. I'm planning a trip to Japan to go to a wrestling show there in Osaka. But what cities would you? Oh, yo, okay. So, Tamamasu or Mark, I would suggest Tokyo. I would suggest Tokyo because there's a little bit of city and tradition mixed here. If you want a smaller location but just as powerful, and it has a bit of city spirituality and tradition, definitely Kyoto, hands down. And Kyoto's only 25-30 minutes from Osaka, so that's actually more convenient than Tokyo. Tokyo's about 2.5 hours by bullet train. Uh, my most anticipated superhero movie for 2017 is definitely Wonder Woman. Reason being because we haven't had a movie, especially superhero based, where the main character was a female and not related to uh, something that had already been out. We have yet to see a standalone movie of any character outside of Batman, Superman, Spider Man. What other standalone movie? Because I don't want to include Avengers. Captain America and Iron Man. We haven't seen any female leads with their own movie, and I think that's good. And the reason I say it because people with daughters, nieces, and whatever, it gives them a chance. The younger audience, it gives them a chance to kind of enjoy those things without it being the same characters all the time. Thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming trailer? Hyped or dishyped? Um, I will say this: the way trailers have been recently, there's a lot of footage that's in the trailers that doesn't make it to the movies. So I'd say 50-50. I say 50-50 mainly because I'd love to enjoy what I'm seeing in the trailer. But one, being in the entertainment business and knowing that a lot of that gets cut for time in the final versions, I don't want to get too hyped and then it doesn't happen because sometimes those scenes are what makes the impression for me story-wise. As far as the office tour, don't know if you guys can see, so it's just simple. Got a meeting room here and basically open space. Nothing but a bunch of tables, desks, and bicycles. Give me a sec. That's my girl's bike, Yeongju. Haven't seen her in a while. She's been out. Miss your girl. Hope to see you soon. And this is a bunch of construction outside the office. Downstairs is a coffee shop that I'm collaborating with. It's pretty standard. It's a nice place though. I like the open space here. And these are all the shirts that's going to the different store locations that are designed by Adat Design. So I'm happy about that because it's been 4 or 5 months to actually talk to them about getting the stuff done, printed out, and getting the samples approved, so on and so on. So anyways, long story short, we're happy we're finally moving forward. As far as the movies go, I am excited that they're doing a that's one of the members in the office space. 今ライブストリームやります。Merry Christmas. So anyways, let's see. Catwoman and Elektra. I don't. Yikes. I don't count Catwoman and Elektra mainly because they're not connected to the DCEU or the MCU. But I will say that as far as those movies go, Catwoman was great in Returns, but not the standalone. Elektra was it was an endeavor but it could have used a bit more. As a matter of fact, one of my friends is in it, Bob Sapp. So I kind of feel bad for those movies because they could have been so much better. Which Spider-Man did I prefer, Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire? Actually, I liked Tobey Maguire in the first Spider-Man. Second Spider-Man was probably my favorite one just for action and story, as far as the Tobey Maguire series goes. Andrew Garfield, I think he did a good job as Spider-Man. It was a matter of timing, maybe, in the story. I'm not sure. Manoj, so lame. Oh no, dude, it's not lame. It's your name. It's all good. Outfit for today. Oh yeah. Um, Wearing my standard T-shirt and hoodie. It's quite cold here, so I'm layering up. Wow, didn't know that. So layering up. But anyways, as far as movies and things, what are you guys really expecting or really looking forward to seeing this year? And when I say this year, I mean 2017. Outside of Wonder Woman, I am looking forward to seeing Justice League just to see how it plays out, and because again, there are other characters in the DCU that we get to see on the screen for the first time. That's my driving force for that. I am looking forward to seeing, uh, uh, and it just went up, episode 8. Reason being because I want to see what's going on with Finn's character. What do you think is a good formula for a superhero movie as in structure and focus of storytelling? I believe you should make a. It's funny you say that crime drama. That's good. I like where you're going with that. Like for me, the Green Lanterns, Green Lanterns, which are one of my favorite series, they're space cops. Why not make their story like an actual police drama? That would it's super easy. They've got tons of stories that they've done that in, and I think it would appeal to the audience because then you can actually have two, if not more, as your main focus, buddy cops, and then you have the co-stars, the co-characters there to help out with the big bad come the end in like a firefight. It's perfect and it's simple. I think if you focus more on story and less on special effects, it would appeal to the audience more, and people as an audience would feel drawn to the characters more because I think the downside for movies, both DC and Marvel, is the the lack of appeal as far as story. Sometimes it's too focused on action, and with the focus being on action to the point where you miss out on actual story, people feel turned off by it. I love special effects and things, but for me, the special effects have to fit the story and be to the point where it's not the focus. Like if I see CG and I don't recognize it, it means they've done a really good job of doing the CG. Christmas. Christmas was unfortunately not as exciting as I would have hoped it to be, but hey, there's always next year. Um, um, but as far as that goes, again, there's next year. It could always be worse. Someone's got it worse than me, so no biggie. I did work and waited to hear from the jail, which didn't happen, but that's okay. It all good. Um, do you think a G.I. Joe movie and a Transformers crossover and ooh. Oh yeah. Why do you think that like Batman is killing another is oh, okay. So to answer the first question, Mark, for G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it did well in the comic books, and having an animation like that is awesome. For that to happen in live action would be great because it gives a new dynamic to both properties, refreshes both properties. But I think the mainstay is not just story in that case; it's casting because sometimes you're looking at too much uh, advertising, like in an Abercrombie and Fitch or American Eagle type poster work, as opposed to, hey, look, we need to get a structured story that'll fit for both properties and work it out from there. I do think that would work out well. They could even use the Power Master um, series from Transformers as a way to bring the GI Joes in to Transformers if they needed to. It's a good way to do repurpose marketing as well as refresh both brands. Ben Affleck judging to kill characters and people where Batman in other movies doesn't. I think the reasoning for that is one, you have Zack Snyder looking at it from a more real world, gritty viewpoint. You know, given Batman has been there for years and has chosen not to kill, if someone dies, it's usually accidental or they do it on their own from their own uh, misgivings. But having him kill people now, he's showing that uh, heroes have changed, people have changed. We've evolved or devolved in one direction or another. With violence being so high, he's fighting and he's lost people since he started. At this point, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he kill? Um, I think is the question that Zack Snyder's trying to pose to people. Why wouldn't he kill at this point? Over 20 years of just battling the same people, and they just keep coming out. Why not take them out? I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying that's what I get from it. What do I think we would expect from Avengers: Infinity War, and how do I think the Russo brothers are going to direct it? I think the Avengers: Infinity War is going to be slightly separated from the main MCU for two reasons. If they do that, it gives them a chance to do kind of like what's happening in DC, where you go to like a different world, like a different Earth. So if a character or so dies off, it gives them a chance to recast the character and give it a new spin. Maybe use a younger actor or actress for that character, or a different version of it. But it also gives them a chance to free up some of the writing to do what they want to with it. I think it will be closely related to the comic books, but I do think that what happens in the comic books will not translate exactly to film. One, it's hard to do, and two, some of the characters don't have the mainstay that the main Avengers have now because they've had years of movies coming out. So that'll be twisted to a point. But I do think that some main characters are going to meet a fatal end, and I don't think they'll be brought back. Um, One, for marketing, and because some of the actors' contracts are getting to the point where they want to move on and do something else. And when you're locked into that kind of project, it's really hard to do that. 2017 has three movies I must watch: Wonder Woman, Justice League, and Logan. Sure, I will watch other comic book movies, but those are the three important to me. Hey, you know what, MJ? I have to agree with you. I like Wonder Woman is finally coming out. I like the trailers for it. That was one of the trailers that just got me pumped back up for wanting to see movies again, especially comic book based. Justice League again because different characters are in it, not just Batman. Logan, I want to see because I actually like the comic book. It's one of my friend's favorite comic books. As a matter of fact, I borrowed it from a couple months back, and I've been reading it. I'm hoping there are elements from the comic book that are definitely brought over into the movie, just because it looks amazing. The concept and the story is interesting. That being Hugh Jackman's potentially last Wolverine movie, I think is a great way to go out. I don't mean like kill the character off, but I mean a great way to go out on a high note if it's done properly. Um, when you get 1 million subscribers, are you going to collab with Akasan where you do a DC giveaway? If I get up, I'm not even going to say 1 million subscribers. If I get up to, I'll say 5 to 10,000 subscribers, I'll do that. Just because I'm appreciative of anybody being supportive of me. I don't have my videos up as frequently as Akasan does, and I need to. And for that, I do apologize. But a lot of it has been because I'm actually filming TV shows, movies, and commercials here. So it's trying to work that time in. And it's not that I think the viewers are not important. It's just time-wise, it hasn't allowed me to do that as of late, but that will change progressively. Working it out to where I'll just have a day or two to just do nothing but the videos that I want to do. So for that, I'll say the people that have been supporting me, thank you very much, and please continue. Um, Rick or Morty, have you seen it yet? No, actually, I haven't. What is it about? I actually don't even know anything about it. If I had to play a superhero in a live action movie, one hero from Marvel and one hero from DC. Ooh, good question. If it's from Marvel, Blue Marvel. The reason I say Blue Marvel because he's kind of an obscure character. He's a good character. He's kind of obscure, and because um, I think with good writing, he could be, he can be, or really is um, potentially one of the best characters there. He just needs, like any other character, you just need good writing. Um, and I like the idea of taking a character that's either well known or very obscure and doing something different and new with it. In the DC universe, um, if it's Kryptonian based, Val-Zod Superman, just because I like what they were doing with that character in Earth 2, in the New 52 Earth 2 series. If it's not, definitely Green Lantern, John Stewart. He's one of my favorite characters, just because he seems very focused yet very conflicted. Da, 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 da. In my opinion, do you think a Green Arrow movie would work? Yes, I think a Green Arrow movie would work. I think a movie would work specifically it focused, if it were focused similar to season one, where it was Arrow and Diggle, because their chemistry on screen is really, really good and very balanced. Action wise, I don't have an issue with that, and story wise, they could actually write a really good story. So yeah, I could see that. That would work. Whether it's Netflix or a live action big budget movie, I think it could work. Do you think Tom Welling could have played Superman in Justice League, or is Henry Cavill just a perfect fit? I like Tom Welling. I've met him before. He's a very nice and very humble person, as well as Henry Cavill. Met and talked with him as well. But I like Henry Cavill, or Cavill, depending on what side you're from. I like him for the fit of Justice League. I do think that um, him being somewhat dark and brooding in the BVS movie is a way for Snyder to have him pull completely away from that when he's brought back. And I think that would be good for the character, because as long as he's drawing that gray line of being somewhat dark but also very helpful to the people around him, I think is better, as opposed to just being, you know, dark and brooding. And it's not because of Batman or anything like that, but I think people are turned off by the fact that he's not their Superman. Given, you also have to remember, Man of Steel and Superman, even in the comic books, the themes are very different, where Man of Steel tends to be a bit darker. So outside of fans need to kind of remember that, I think Zack Snyder would do himself a service by having the character itself go a bit lighter. And I think people would enjoy it more. Do I think Gotham City Sirens is a good idea? Yes, because I don't think Harley Quinn having a movie by herself, I don't think people would go for it. Having a few extra characters there helps the character bounce off their energy and their acting talent with other characters, as well as from the marketing standpoint. Look at it, it's toys. You need to be able to have something where you can sell, lots of toys and merchandise. So having multiple characters there gives you the perfect chance to do that, and it gives them a chance to renew characters. Now, again, story's got to be strong, otherwise it's just going to be, hot chicks in small clothes, beating people up. Given that's fine and dandy, but we have Sucker Punch for that. Would you like to see a Static Shock movie or TV series? You know what, Otis? You guys are giving me some good questions. I'm loving this, and the range is fantastic. Yes, I would like to see another Static Shock series. Animated series, I think TV animated series would be great. Live action movie would be awesome. If not live action movie, then a Netflix original, and then do a series after that. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm thinking, because you guys mentioned Marvel and DC, but no one said anything about Image, which is interesting. I was kind of shocked. If it's an Image character, given his race and background is very different from mine, so I'm putting it out there first. Backlash. Backlash was one of my favorite characters growing up. He was just awesome. Um, and so was Spawn, obviously. Spawn's been done. If they redo it, it'd be great. But um, Backlash was just, oh, he's like, just do some history. He's a really cool character, and I think if it's written well, it'd be cool. Um, on the Milestone side, Icon. Yes, partially because he is somewhat like Superman, but also because he's very different. Him being one of the prominent black characters of Milestone, which is one of the reasons they started the label and things, I thought was really interesting and cool. But I'd like to see what else can come out of that series with other characters. Uh, let's see. The director of Thor 3 said that the planet Scar plays a role in the movie. Do you think this will make it more diverse or show more emotion? Ah, I think. Thanks, Sid. Good question. It depends on how much of the planet is there, because I think having it there would be a good way to set up uh, Planet Hulk or World War Hulk, which was one of my favorite series. I liked how Hulk went through the Marvel Universe and just like, hey, look, I need to speak to these 6 people who basically set me up to die, whether it was a misunderstanding or not. But the way it was written was really interesting. Um, so it depends on how much the planet is there. It's a good way to set that up. Or yes, it is a good way to add more emotion to the Hulk because he's trying to find himself and be at peace. Him and Black Widow hooking up, it was interesting and awkward at the same time. Yeah, I would think that either her and Tony or her and Hawkeye would have been a better match. No, Hawkeye has a family, so that's out. But her and I guess, or even Captain America, but he's got a girlfriend, so that killed that. Which hero from DC or Marvel do you feel just isn't cast correctly? Hmm. Mark, I got to think about that one. That's a good question. There's a lot of people that think Batman isn't cast correctly, but you know, um, Lex Luthor. The reason I that's funny, MJ. Uh, the only reason I don't say Lex Luthor is because he's playing his son as opposed to Lex Luthor, the father. The son is actually crazy. Not that Lex, the father, wasn't, but Lex Luthor Jr., Alexander Luthor Jr., he was. All you need to know about Rick and Morty. After having been missing for nearly 20 years, his suddenly arrives at daughter Beth's doorstep and with her in a what? Okay. Is Rick and Morty a comedy? Do I feel Jared Leto's Joker should get a standalone movie, maybe like an Arkham Asylum type story? It's funny you say that because I think having a standalone um, movie based on the villains, I think would be really, really interesting. Um, and I don't mean Suicide Squad. I mean specifically, like you mentioned, like Joker or even uh, Deathstroke. Having a Deathstroke movie would be awesome. Um, I'm a Deathstroke fan. I'd like to see that. That and I helped um, basically do the concept and things for Deathstroke and the Killing Joke Joker for Kotobukiya, and I like those 2 figures. But yeah, having a standalone of that would be awesome. Um, Having a standalone of Arkham Asylum, I think would be pretty interesting. Like showing it from how Arkham Asylum started and how it led up to the point where Joker basically gets released, or some of your more villainous characters that are there would be pretty interesting. But make it different from the Gotham TV series. Although Beth welcomes Rick into her home, her husband Jerry isn't happy about. Ah, okay. Yeah, it sounds like a comedy. I'll try and see if it's out. What are my views? And of course, my big brother gets online. Dwan Carver, what's up, big bro? What are my views on same-sex relationships on Arrow? I don't care. Same-sex relationships, if you look at it, I watch a lot of CW TV shows. They are on every CW show. It's to the point where it's almost standard or prerequisite. The reason it doesn't bother me because I know there are people out there that are interested in same-sex relationships, whether they are gay or lesbian doesn't matter. They're interested in that because it adds a different dynamic to the show and to the characters. Some characters' backstories and sexes being changed just for the sake of the show, I think, um, is a detriment to the show. I think they could bring up a new character and change their sex as opposed to taking another character and um, making their sex very different just for the sake of having that type of character there, as opposed to that's how that character is. I'm even in comic books. I'm all about making a new character with a new backstory and things. Make the character start off being, what they are, and take it from there instead of constantly revamping previously made characters from like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's kind of annoying. Um, It goes on adventure across the universe. That involves Gran Turismo. Oh, okay. Um, would I live in the U.S.? Thanks, Isaiah. Actually, I used to. The only reason I'm here is because I've been contracted to do entertainment work and things here. So that's basically what kept me here for so long. Were I a fan of the Ben 10 series, and do I think Cartoon Network screwed the chance to make a good life? Um, Once, but it was bad. I enjoyed the Ben 10 series the few times I watched it. It was interesting, the concept and things. The live action I haven't seen, but unfortunately, I've heard that the ratings are pretty bad. Unfortunately, so no, Duan, I haven't seen the Max Steel movie yet, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing it just because it looks like it may have some good fight choreography in it. Leto's Joker gets too much criticism. I thought he did fine. The guy they cast for Deathstroke. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the guy they cast for Deathstroke was perfect. Thoughts on Dwan Carver being taller than me? Actually, he's not. Um, I heard Wonder Woman is going to be bisexual in the movie. Um, I don't know. That'll be, I don't know. I don't know if I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I think having one of Wonder Woman's characters in the movie being bisexual is just fine. But again, Wonder Woman's one of those characters where if they keep going back in history to tweak and change, it's like, you know what, we don't have any core members that are bisexual or gay, so we should change it. Just make a new character and do it from scratch instead of changing it constantly. It feels like a cop out. Ben 10 versus Max Steel. Max Steel. I don't know. Max Steel. Oh, that's a good question. Ben 10's got what, 10 different alien forms to pull from. So I guess it depends on who's better. Actually, you're not taller. Um, yeah, he is the new Joe is the new Deathstroke, and I like what they're doing with him. I think that it was a good idea on the movie side, especially if they couldn't get Manu Bennett to play it, because I think those two uh, look very similar. Given Joe is much taller, but they have similar builds. Um, is Dwan getting a chance to be in my channel? I guess it depends on if he makes it here to Tokyo or not. I'd love to react with my big brother and my little brother just because it's fun having them around. But it depends. If he wants to, of course, he's welcome to any time. Do you think I'll get a Planet Hulk movie, dude? Seriously, Sid, I would love a Planet Hulk movie because I think that would be cool. But World War Hulk storyline, I love that flow. Hulk being the Herald of Galactus would be interesting, but I don't think they will be able to pull it off well in live action, unfortunately. Would be my casting a choice of Poison Ivy? Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. Um, I need to think about that one. That's a really good one because I actually just saw someone and I thought they were interesting. Um, if it's, there's a character in the Batman, was it the future based Batman storyline? Why can't I think of the name of it? I want to say the character's name is Ink. Um, yeah, I think her name is Ink. That character, I'd cast Ruby Rose. She just has the build for it. She's slim like that. Chris Pine playing Wonder Woman's boyfriend in the movie, I think, is perfect. I think it's perfect for the time being. Unfortunately, he's not going to last unless they, drop him in ice and then bring him back. Uh, is Loki the most important villain in Marvel? He's not, but I think he's the most used villain in Marvel. Where, for whatever reason, I'd say, as far as villains that they've introduced, as far as power levels, he's the most powerful so far. And I mean that both mentally and power level. He's just found a way to get under everybody's skin. Multiverse will be the explanation for a new backstory of gay characters. It will, but again, it depends on if the multiverse is brought over to um, live action and or TV shows. Oh, best casting choice for Zatanna. Um, if this were the 1990s, Salma Hayek. Right now, you know what? The lead actress who's now on Baywatch, who is also in the TV show Quantico, she could be interesting as Zatanna. But I think at this point, she may be a bit too expensive to have on the show. Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, which do I prefer? Dragon Ball. Um, Movies I'm looking forward to in 2017. I'm looking forward to Logan, Justice League, but the top right now is Wonder Woman and Episode 8. Flash with blue lightning or yellow lightning, which is better? Depending on the storyline, I like both, but I liked in the New 52 when he had the black and kind of like this whitish blue suit. He was from the future. I liked that suit. That was pretty cool. What should be more successful, Justice League or Infinity War? I guess that depends on how the writing is for Infinity War. Excuse me, for Justice League Dawn. I would hope Justice League would be more successful just to give Warner and DC a chance at being more risky with their properties instead of playing it safe. I think they should reach out to some more directors. I would love to see the director for Wonder Woman take over The Flash. I think she has a good sense of characters and things. Do you think it's possible to ever do a Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline? I do think it's possible. As a matter of fact, I think that's something that they may lead up to after the second Justice League movie, if the second Justice League movie doesn't lead into that itself. That would be a great way to do it. Yes, I was a fan of Xena. I love Lucy Lawless. Lucy Lawless. When I was a kid, I had a picture of Lucy Lawless sitting on a couch, just looking up at the camera, wearing a Supergirl T-shirt, and it was the hottest thing next to toast. I just at that time I thought it was great. Why and when did I move to Japan? So I first came over to Japan about 11 years ago to visit. I went back to the States once or twice in between, but the reason I came over here was basically just to visit friends and to try out acting. And I got scouted by 4 agencies. I got contracted by the largest cell phone company here, as well as doing television and film. Same thing I would be doing back home. I just got picked up here, and that's the reason I stayed. Doesn't mean I don't want to go back to the States or have no plan going back to the States, because I do in February. But for the most part, I've got a lot of work here as well, and realistically, I need to make sure I can still survive and pay bills. But the plan is to come back to the States because I definitely want to be on a CW superhero-based TV show as a regular. I have no problem with Barry Allen. but don't you wish Wally West was in the Justice League movie instead? Um, I will say I would like if both were in the Justice League movie. I like Barry Allen and I like Wally West, but I think sometimes Wally West ends up being a bit too um, like the personality for Wally West in the cartoons. I think would work really well on screen as Wally West, not as Barry Allen taking those aspects and adding it. So having both of them on there and Barry having a um, a partner he can rely on, I think would be cool. And if it's potentially passing the mantle over or passing it down to Wally West, I'm cool with that as long as the story supports it. Like Jessica Jones be replenished as a Netflix show, would Blue Marvel be getting a chance? And ooh, you know what? Having Blue Marvel in the Captain Marvel film would be pretty cool. For that, I could say, yeah, I'd sign up for that, just because it'd be an interesting dynamic. I'm a fan of the Underworld franchise. Yes, I am, because after meeting and talking with Kate Beckinsale several years ago, she just left a really good impression on me. The Underworld series is just one of those sleeper series where it's there to be full of action and supernatural beings and stuff like that. And it's not one of those. It's not Twilight. It's not Downing Twilight, but it's not like Twilight. It's not meant to be like this big cheesy romance. Given you have that in there, I enjoyed the series for the action and the weapons. The weapons they came up with were just pretty cool. It was like watching uh, Blade, in which also hearing that they wanted to get Blade in the Underworld series but couldn't because he's being used. I was like, oh, cop out. That's harsh. Hey, Mike, you retracted your comment. You can put it back. I'll answer any question you guys put up there. What happened to the Tokyo Trinity picture? Thank you, Dawn. The Tokyo Trinity picture is actually posted in several places. I'm actually going to be putting up a couple music tracks in the next day or so, and that was going to be the background of one of them. Thank you for asking. And thank you for doing such a great job on them. I really do love them. For those who don't know, my big brother Dawn is the one that did the Tokyo Trinity pictures. Do you believe that DC's animated movies could be compared to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Yeah, because I think with the DC animated features, they did a really good job of writing, and the stories were interesting when they had them out. Just look at Crisis on Two Earths. That's one of my favorite ones. One that I would love to see them animate is Red Sun. That would be fantastic. That's one of my favorite stories. And Blackest Night would be great. You saw the new Underworld? What? You saw the new Underworld? It's out already? It doesn't come out here until what? January? Damn it. I want to see it. Do you like the last Airbender movie and what's taking so long in the second one? I hope they're doing it. Truth. The Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon, the animated series, I love. Toph Beifong is one of my favorite characters, bar none. I liked all of them, but she's one of my favorites. And so was the Korra TV series. The live action movie, not so much because they made it to the point where the characters had to literally have an element by them to use it, specifically fire. It had to be a torch lit somewhere so they can use it. I didn't like that. For whatever reason, the director had everyone's acting flat as hell, and it wasn't good. Now, if they get someone else to do it, I think it could be interesting. The director from Suicide Squad, director from Wonder Woman, hell, Russo brothers, I don't care. Anybody other than would be good. How was my experience when you meet Stan Lee at Tokyo Comic Con? My experience meeting Stan Lee at the con was actually quite nice. The first time I met him was 2010 at my first San Diego Comic Con, and I enjoyed it. He was very polite. Having drinks with him and talking about pretty much everything under the sun was nice because it was unexpected. I didn't think that he'd do that with someone he didn't know, but he actually remembered me from the Q&A in Hall H. I guess I was the only Black American actor there that was based in Tokyo. So his name Dante. So I guess it was easy for him to be like, "Yeah, Dante, I remember you. Come here, let's talk." So that was fun. Introduced him to Kojima, Kojima-san, and Imaizumi-san, and a few other people, and that was cool. And my first experience at San Diego Comic Con was great. So seeing him again, but here in Tokyo, was even better because it was almost like being in the same place but in reverse. So walking around and introducing him to other people was fun. Famous actor. So yeah, I've met a lot of people. Part of it's yes because of the acting side, and some of it's just timing of where I'm at the time, not necessarily from the entertainment side. But sometimes yes, and thank you, appreciate it. Da, da, da. They need to save Wally West once they finish doing Justice League movies. Teen Titans or Young Justice. Ooh, well, they are doing a Young Justice season 3 finally. So having a Teen Titans movie would be kind of cool, or take off the teen, do like they're doing in the Rebirth comic books now, just call it Titans, and have Wally West over there with Nightwing and Firestar. Ooh, excuse me, and a few other characters. I think would be great. Who are my favorite actors that I've met? Henry Cavill, definitely one of my favorite actors. The Rock. Um, uh, Two of them that passed away were from Fast and Furious and Spartacus. Andy Whitfield, unfortunately, was one of my favorite people to meet. He was just a very giving person. Samuel L. Jackson is just funny as hell. He was very funny to me. And Quentin Tarantino, meeting and working with him here in Japan was just interesting. He plays my uncle in the commercials, so that was funny. Um, it's packed with action. I do want to see the Underworld, not bootleg. I do want to see the Underworld movie, not necessarily bootleg. How about you direct the Last Airbender? Yeah, if I direct the Last Airbender movie, um, which I have no problem doing, actually directing a short here as we speak, it would be interesting. I would have it start off somewhat darker. It would have many layers to it, but I'd need to do it stateside, not here. Doing it here, it wouldn't be as fun because I really need to block out areas, and to block out areas here, it's really expensive. So it'd be cheaper to do it outside Japan and bring the talent there. Uh, you should check the trailer. Split it, stars the guys. Place. Trailer split it. Stars. You should check the trailer. Split it. It stars the guy who plays Professor Xavier in the new X movies. Okay. Oh, yeah, he's got like split personalities. I actually want to see that movie because he does look like he's crazy. Is there any comic books or comic book movies that has a message that relates to my life? Growing up as a kid on the Marvel side, like most people, X Men definitely um, I felt I could relate to because I was very different. I lived in other countries, and at the time, there weren't many people like me around. So I always felt um, like I didn't fit in, or I was very different from people. So it was X Men was one of them. Superman, Spider Man, and at one point Detective Comics, just because I like the darker stories and things. So it's kind of a mix on both sides. Again, Dawn, the Tokyo Trinity picture will be posted later. I will put it up, I promise. It'll be on the background. Are you in any TV shows or movies that you could watch? There are some of them on Netflix. There's a couple coming out again that'll be posted next year. Next year, there are 4 movies that I'm promoting, 2 from Japan and 2 in the States. One of them will actually be out come April or May of next year. I'll find out when the NDA stops, and then I'll go ahead and post that information. Sorry to keep you waiting. There's a lot of TV shows and movies that I've done, even here, but not, just being honest, not all of them are, you know, what we would watch back home, or not exactly the woohoo big budget that we have back home. So you may or may not enjoy it. I would love a live action Teen Titans movie. Yes, so would I. Um, how should Flashpoint Paradox animated fair in movie theater if they added 15 to 30 minutes? Dude, I think if they just put the Flashpoint Paradox animated um, uh, movie in the theater as is, I think it'd be fine. Having what would be awesome is to have a animated movie-a-thon or whatever. So basically, having two or three of the uh, big DC and Marvel animated features up, so people could just go and enjoy it. I think would be kind of interesting because we haven't had that. Have I seen the Transformers 5 movie trailer? As a matter of fact, yes, I did a reaction with Akasan on that. I was shocked. It was interesting. I am a big Optimus Prime fan since childhood. He's one of my favorite characters. What's my thoughts on Joseph Gordon-Levitt? I think that he could play a pretty good Nightwing if he's given the chance. Um, Melissa Bonet, Scarlett Johansson, or Margot Robbie? Margot Robbie. Um, you know what? To answer your question, for Poison Ivy, the lead that's in Magnificent Seven, she was also in Equalizer. She played the friend of the hooker that got beat up. What's her name? I gotta look it up. But I think she would make an interesting Poison Ivy, just because she's got this really, really good look. A lot of people mistake her for Jennifer Lawrence for some reason, but something Bennett. Or is it Magnificent Seven? Give me a moment looking it up because I'm trying to remember her name. It's yeah, uh, Halle Bennett or Haley Bennett, Haley. I think would make an interesting Poison Ivy. Uh, have you met any other YouTube reviewers besides Akasan? Yes, I've met a few. As a matter of fact, if you watch the original short that we did on Deadpool, there's at least a good 6 or 7 of them, even in the video, as well as Callie. Callie's not in that video, but she's one of the more recent ones that I've met. And hopefully you realize that Optimus is being controlled by Dark Energon, and Megatron is also a Nightlight. Ooh. I did not realize that, Sid. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Thank you. You lost the Wi-Fi, so didn't hear my previous responses. My previous responses were, yes, I've met some of the other YouTube reviewers besides Akasan. Part of that was because we were filming the Akasan's original for Deadpool, in which, if you watch it, I'm in the Deadpool costume with the cape because I'm portraying the Superman-style character because it's his version of BVS, where everybody's a Deadpool. It is what it is. What do I think about Sony starting a franchise with Valiant Comics? I think it's smart, especially since it's pretty much giving Spider-Man back to Marvel. They don't really have any properties to deal with, and for them to do that, it gives them a chance to fill out some new characters and go in different directions that they couldn't with the Marvel movies or Marvel-based characters. What do you think? CGI tutorial or maybe a vlog going on while directing? Do I think I would do a CGI tutorial? I am not good at CGI at all. That would be great if I could, but there's no way I can even pretend I know what I'm doing for CGI. Do I like the Teen Titans vs. Justice League movie? I thought it was interesting. It was nice and light, and them using a villain that hasn't been used yet in the DC animated universe, I thought was a good idea. Who would I cast as Batman in Batman Beyond? You know, it's funny you say that. Given Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in the Dark Knight series, I could see him playing that character. And if it were someone younger, um, ooh, that's a good question because you need someone that is fit, but also very witty and sarcastic. Um, I don't know who would you guys cast as that character? Yeah, Haley Bennett. Um, what is Mark as Terry or Batman? Maybe as Terry. Here's a question: do you think Black Canary is strong enough to have her own movie before making a Green Arrow movie? More female lead roles would be a win for DC. Unfortunately, I don't think um, she would be strong enough to have her own movie. TV series, maybe. Um, as far as having more female leads, outside of having the Wonder Woman movie, they could do a Supergirl movie. I don't see any downsides to that. Um, Other characters, you know, they could easily pick any of the other characters and do something with them. Kind of like what they're doing with Gotham City Sirens. You know, they could do a Bombshells movie. That would be awesome. I would love that because I like the Bombshells. And having it in that time period would be fine, or having them start off in that time period and for whatever reason they end up in some type of time bubble and it's fast forward to the future where it's more recent, that works too. I don't care. But having something like that would be interesting. Do I like Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and would I ever see the Blue Beetle on screen? Seeing the Blue Beetle on screen, I think, will happen, mainly because the first step for that was Cyborg. So having Cyborg there and using that technology for Blue Beetle, I don't think will be an issue. Optimus Prime's eyes were purple, dark energy on that blue, in this scene where he kills Bumblebee. All right, I'll take a look at it again because I completely missed that. I was in too much shock seeing um, Optimus Prime there and then, stabbing down towards Bumblebee. He probably stabbed the ground, or it wasn't a fatal blow to Bumblebee. Who would I cast as Beast Boy in a live-action Teen Titans movie? The kid who's actually in, I want to say his last name is Strawberry or Strandberry. He plays in Teen Wolf. He's one of the new leads on the TV show Teen Wolf. I could see him, or even the main character Tyler from Teen Wolf, having him play Beast Boy. That's almost perfect because he's already playing one. What are my hopes for Phase 4 of the MCU? Um, wider variety of characters. I like the Avengers; they're fine. My favorite is Captain America and Black Panther and Falcon. Those are my three favorites. But having other characters there, I think would be good. The second row would be Scarlet Witch. Having a Scarlet Witch and Vision movie could be interesting if the story is strong enough and basically, you got to bring the X-Men into it, dealing with mutants. That would be awesome. Do you think they need to make a Green Arrow or Flash movie? Yes, very much so. They need to have a Green Arrow movie. One, because if it weren't for Green Arrow, a lot of the other shows and properties wouldn't have been greenlit, literally. No puns intended for that. Having a Flash movie would be great. Doing a Emerald Knights series where you have Green Lantern and Green Arrow together in the same universe is fine. I think would be better on TV than movie. The Flash having his own standalone movie, I think, is something that needs to happen. It's right up there with Shazam. You have people that are big fans of Shazam. Why not do it? Manos, thanks for tuning in, and I will definitely take a look at your Instagram. You follow me on Instagram. I'll follow back. No problem. Is Mahawk? No. What is it, Dawn? Tell me what that is. They won't let Joseph be in the DC universe. Well, not really. Look at Ben Affleck. He played Daredevil. Thank you. Yes. Do I still think that Power Girl would? She should make an appearance in the Arrowverse. That would be awesome. The only catch is, who would you cast as her? Um, with the person, would you want the person to look very similar to Supergirl in the TV show, or for them to look very different? That's an interesting question. I would like to see a Power Girl, um, and ah, what's her name? Why am I forgetting names today? Oh, so much going on. Um, she's paired with her. Basically, having the two of them in a movie would be great. Uh, Hulk is the shit. What else on the team? Yeah, Hulk is great. The downside to it is writing. They unfortunately have him being or acting like an idiot, which I didn't like. I really liked the World War Hulk series because he wasn't an idiot. Um, and he didn't need to touch into rage in order to become, super strong. He didn't have to do that. Raven and Teen Titans action movie. Yeah, it's fun picking my brain. I also feel like my brain's melting. It's like there's a lot of characters that I can't think of for whatever reason. There's some cast members that are on TV shows that I watch now that I think would be good as characters in other shows. Um, do you think so? Get Bart Allen in anything in the Flash because last time. Yes, that's true. Having Bart Allen come up in the Flash TV series would be interesting. It would probably be on a different Earth. Um, actually, I could see it possibly happening now because the timeline has shifted so much. But if he's from a different Earth, that kind of plays into how they're doing it. My Instagram is uh, 2DC Sign, or just look up Dante Carver Official, and it's on there. No space in between. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, just Hal Jordan. Yeah, actually, for me, I like him better as Deadpool than as Hal Jordan. I thought Ryan Reynolds would have made a great Wally West Flash, but the script wasn't good, so that's why I got scrapped. Then they ended up getting Hal Jordan. I think, if anything, he would have been a better Guy Gardner than a Hal Jordan. I think with his sarcasm and things, he fits more of the Deadpool character. I think that was perfect. What? They just dropped a new Justice League trailer? What? Oh, fan made superhero shorts? Alright, I'll check it out. Um, Hold on a second. Did they really drop a Justice League teaser? Because that would be great, because I'm one of those people, I'm desperately looking for it. Because as it stands right now, no. I don't see one. Hey, Windows, can you put in a link for us here in the chat? That'd be great. Have you ever seen Avengers Flashpoint Paradox? Huh? Hey, Joseph Thomas. No, I haven't actually. I didn't even know there was one. Um, Interested to see. Oh, hey. Yeah, Amelia Clark would be an interesting character in the DCEU. Just not sure what character. Apparently, I had a missed call from. Yeah, well, that's fine. So, anyways, I'll look that up. No, no proof. Well, that kind of sucks because that's actually one of the trailers I'm looking forward to right now. I want to see a Justice League. Oh, it's a fan made trailer. Boo. Nothing against fan made trailers. Just I at this point in time for Justice League, I'd rather it be official. Um, Actually, the Alien Covenant trailer I just watched. I just watched parts of it early this morning, and it was creepy, but I liked it. Dragon Ball Super, no, I haven't. I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately, um, but it sounds like it may be interesting. Boo decided to learn Japanese. Where did I start? In the strips, hiragana to katakana. Okay. Well, as far as learning hiragana to katakana, just get yourself a stack of index cards. On one side, write the hiragana, and on the opposite side, write katakana. If you need to write the romaji under it, basically, and then put in like an A or whatever, do that. Do it for about 10, 15 minutes, and you'll memorize it. It's actually pretty easy to memorize, and go over it at least once or twice a week for like 2, 3 weeks. It'll stick. That's the easiest way to learn. The downside to it is if you don't write it, um, a lot of people here, since we're using cell phones and computers, we're using it all the time. You tend to forget what is what because you're used to using it on your phone. So when you need to write it, it's like, oh, wait a second. You pull out your cell phone, look at it, oh yeah, that's what it is. It happens all the time, even with Japanese people, especially with kanji. It won't let you link. Sorry. Have I seen Battle of the Gods and Revival of F? I have seen Battle of the Gods, and I thought it was pretty interesting, especially towards the end where Goku gets shot. It's like, what? Wasn't expecting that. It was interesting. Revival, not yet. It's one of the ones that I'm waiting for it to be re-released here in Blu-ray. They have like a collector's box set or something like that, and I'd rather see that version because there'll be extra things added to it. They're making it kind of like the U.S. Blu-rays to get released, where there's extra stuff that's on it. You were talking about the Avengers Flashpoint Paradox being a fan-made trailer, not Justice League. Oh, okay, no problem. No, I haven't seen the Avengers Flashpoint Paradox fan-made trailer. But I will check that out later on because it sounds interesting just to see what they did with it, how they mixed it. For me, the gripes with a lot of the movies now are really small things that make a big difference. Like they somewhat fix it, but the first Avengers movie, you had all the Avengers talking to each other as if they had Bluetooth earpieces in, and they didn't. The only person that actually reacted somewhat accordingly was Captain America when he put his 2 fingers up next to his ear like he was doing the motion and looking up for it and speaking. That was it. Everybody else is just speaking out loud. It's like, wow, they've got really good hearing. And Vision wasn't there, so they weren't synced. Vision and Scarlet Witch weren't there, so they weren't synced, telepathically. So, just saying. Um, since Thaddeus Ross plays a known role in the MCU, do you think it'll be the Red Hulk? I hope it's the Red Hulk. Just because that would make it interesting, especially since they didn't bring the Grey Hulk into the last Avengers movie like they were supposed to. When we get a new Green Lantern, who would I prefer to see, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, or Jessica Cruz? I would prefer to see Jon Stewart and Jessica Cruz. I don't mind Hal Jordan being there, but I would rather have the focus more on Jon Stewart and Jessica Cruz and then bring Hal Jordan in, just because I think the dynamic of having other characters there would be more interesting, and because you get characters that are redone over and over and over again, it gets boring. And I think story-wise, it would be interesting from those two characters' points of view. First, Jessica mainly because she's just traumatized, and I think she's a good, strong character. And I'm not mistaken, Michelle Rodriguez is slated to play her possibly. That's something that was mentioned at one of the previous cons, so that would be interesting. Jon Stewart, don't know who's playing him. I would love to put my name in the hat for that. I know I've said that several times, but that is on purpose. The YouTube trailer for the Justice League teaser. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it, Deadpool. Ganbarimasu. Do our best. As far as 2017, are there any movies that you guys are looking forward to, or any movies you think I should try checking out? And the reason I say is because movies here get sent, get over here quite late. So like even Underworld doesn't come out until January, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got like what is it, Doctor Strange? That's like March. All this stuff will be on Blu-ray by that time. Hey, Dawn, did you mean online? Oh, for those who are listening, online, I don't mean on the internet. There's an app called Line that we use um, that I usually talk with friends and family with, just because the service here is sweet. If you guys don't have Line and you know someone that does, definitely check it out because it's worth. Did I hear about Spider-Man not being in Infinity War? No, but I'm not surprised if he's not. Okay. Um, and reason being, my little brother sent pictures. Love it. The reason I don't think it's a bad idea because of licensing. If that happens, there's too much that can go wrong with the character, and Sony would possibly have to give up the character altogether, as opposed to just sharing it. So I could see him, if he's not in the Infinity War, I could see that happening. Um, Infinity War. That's a lie. No YouTube. Okay. No YouTube. Oh, okay. You sent me a message on YouTube. Okay, I'll check it in a bit. Yeah, Spider-Man. Here's a question for you guys: are you guys happy, indifferent, or unhappy with the fact that they're using Peter Parker Spider-Man instead of a Miles Morales? If it's coming on the 7th there, it may get a simultaneous release here. Answering Sid's question about Dragon Ball Super dub, I am going to check it out now. If it's coming out in January there, then it may either A, be out here or about to come out here. Um, so I'll look for it. And seeing that it's there, and you're like the third or fourth person that's mentioned it to me in the past week, maybe I will check it out. Have I seen Call of Heroes? No. For the most part, I'm umming a lot as well. For the most part, I've been packing and working for like the past like week and a half, 2 weeks. So I've been pretty bogged down. I haven't had a chance to decompress and see anything outside of like Rogue One, which was good. What is Call of Heroes about? Is it Netflix or is it uh, live action? I'm only fine with it because I heard we didn't have to see Uncle Ben die again. Really, the love is all for Peter. Don't get to see Uncle Ben dying again. Fine with it. What about League of Gods? Are these, hey, Dwan, are these Kung Fu movies? What are they? For me, I don't mind Peter being there. I think for fans of the Spider-Man series, having Peter Parker there and maybe befriending Miles Morales, whether he becomes Spider-Man or not, I think will be a good little Easter egg for fans of both. Spider-Gwen would be an interesting character to see just because I know she's become really, really popular. Um, and or Silk. Yes, I understand we're dealing with time differences in children and things. I'm just saying it'd be interesting to see those characters on screen and people would be happy because I hear a lot of buzz about that even from here. Would rather a fresh story with Miles, and there have been a lot of Peter Parker films between the previous Spider-Man. That is true. There have been a lot of Peter Parker films, Peter Parker characters between Spider-Man films. Sorry, it was just a Justice League new poster and got scammed. Hey, don't worry about it, man. It's okay. No big deal. Um, okay, I'll use your Plex and look up the trailers. I haven't had the chance to look up anything yet. Um, what have I seen trailers for the Russian? Yes, the trailer for the Russian-based superhero movie looks amazing. There's some characters in there that I'm looking at. It's like, well, hey, he's kind of like Winter Soldier and Snake Eyes put together, or this character is like Colossus and this character put together. I thought was pretty cool how they make it similar but different because that's good for marketing, and it looks pretty badass. There's two that came out, one superhero based and one looks like a sci-fi thriller, which I'm looking forward to seeing the dub version of that. Would I watch The Mummy starring Tom Cruise? Yes, I would, Lopez, because I've seen the trailer. The trailer looks kind of funny in a dark way, and it'd just be interesting to see what he does with it because I liked All You Need Is Kill. I thought it was funny how every time he kept trying to escape and killing himself, he'd die in really stupid ways. So, him in the trailer potentially dying or assumed to be dead and then coming back, does that mean he's sharing the power with the mummy? Or what? Or is it that his character is the mummy? Not sure. I thought it was interesting how they did the trailer. There are some Dragon Ball Super dub teaser on YouTube. Just search Dragon Ball Super dub. All right. Thanks, Sid. I'll check that out because right now on the animated side, I'm looking forward to seeing another episode of RWBY. Yes, I am a RWBY fan. While we had the Tokyo Comic Con going on, they apparently had Rooster Teeth here in Japan, which I didn't know, in Shinjuku, which is about an hour from where I was, having like a fan service talk show and stuff like that. So it's funny because I'm walking around on the floor in the con doing some videotaping, and one of my fans comes up and he's like, "Oh, Denson, can we take a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Thanks for coming out to see the con." And I looked down in his bag, and he's got this messenger style bag that's got nothing but RWBY all over. I'm like, "Wait, dude, where did you get that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got it from the talk show they're having in Shinjuku." I was like, "What? Where's that store?" He goes, "Oh no, they're having a talk show, so it was one of the giveaways, the things you could buy." So outside of freaking out, I was very jealous and very happy to see that, that anime had made it to Japan and it has a good following as it does back in the States. So it was pretty cool. As well as cosplaying with um, the people, well, I wasn't cosplaying, but taking pictures with the people that were cosplaying the characters from RWBY was really nice. They were really polite and very well done. My thing is, I grew up with Spider-Man, excuse me, animated series in the 1990s. He was a young man in at least two versions of Spider-Man. He keeps getting younger and younger. Yeah, he does keep getting younger and younger because they're trying to make the franchise last longer because, again, it's the only property. That's why I'm happy that they're picking up variant properties so they could do other things. As far as Young Justice Season 3, yes, I am excited about Young Justice Season 3 because it's one of my favorite anime. And I'm hoping in this Season 3 we can actually get more story as to what happened in that 5-year split in Season 2 that we never get. I'd love to know more about that. Peter Parker from Man to Boy. Yeah, it is kind of weird. He's got the Benjamin Button syndrome. Do I think Thanos will be the biggest bad in the MCU? No, I don't. Darkseid in DC, coin toss. Coin toss because Darkseid could be one of the big bads. Leading with Steppenwolf and then going into Darkseid, I think, is a good direction. But also having Brainiac there would be pretty terrifying. Daily workout routine. Well, it depends. Usually 5-6 days a week, I break my workouts down depending on my schedule. Usually doing one body part or two body parts at a time. So like Mondays would be like chest, and then tomorrow would be legs or arms. And when I say arms, usually I have it as biceps and triceps. But otherwise, I try and separate it as much as possible. If I've only got a 3-day work week, as far as working out, then I'll do 2 or 3 parts at once. That way I can get the most out of it. Or do I think someone will empower their evilness? Someone empower their evilness. Darkseid. No, I think if anything, it'll be more of Darkseid coming, maybe having Superman possessed for a short time, and going from there. Spider-Man in 2000 and 1994 and 2008. Interesting. Would I like a Spider-Verse movie? Will ever happen? I think if here's my thought on Spider-Man. If Spider-Man does well enough as a standalone, they may do other things and involve other characters from the Spider-Man universe just because Sony's looking at any and every way possible to market uh, toys and other merchandise. And the best way to do that is to have more characters, both male and female, there. So I can see a Spider Verse movie possibly happening. If it doesn't happen um, immediately, maybe within the next 5 years, just because there's too much going on, and for them to do that gives them free range to keep the license longer or share the license longer. No, I haven't been to Alamo Drafthouse. Where is that? Um, okay. Well, I was going to leave the live stream up on here. I wasn't going to get rid of it. I think it's recording. Coming Um, what would be the circumstance to get Anti Venom on screen, and would you recommend going to a Comic Con? Having Anti Venom on screen, my thoughts would be just like in the DC universe, having a villain based movie, having a villain based uh, movie for Marvel, I think would be interesting. You know, everything's been about the Avengers and Captain America or Iron Man. Now, given the way that they're writing, tortured heroes, so to speak. But having a villain movie would be pretty interesting. Having it be the traditional form of Venom, where he's not the soldier and doing espionage, the spy, and all that kind of stuff. But having the original version, I think, would be interesting. Then you could have Anti Venom there on screen, and it'd be a good pairing to have them fight it out. That would be cool. I would like that. I would really like to see Venom, Carnage, and Anti Venom on screen together, um, duking it out. Just that would be interesting. You don't even need to have Spider Man there. Um, yeah, okay. Well, it depends if it will let me. I had intended on leaving it up on my channel, but I'm not really sure if it will. Give me a sec. Let me double check something real quick. Everything's awesome. Don't think it was recording. Boo. Just in case, do that. And just in case, Minos, thanks for tuning in, man. I will definitely do another live stream, and since the live stream is going fairly well here, I can do it from here. The problems I've been having before is just internet connection been bad. Yes, I would recommend going to a Comic Con just because it's interesting to see what people bring to the table as far as entertainment, and because it's not just comic book based anymore, which is what it started on. Would I like to see Godspeed on the big screen? If done correctly, I think that would be cool to have in the Flash movie. Yes, that would be cool. If it's a matter of not knowing what to do with Shazam, having Shazam help out the Flash um, in one way or another would be interesting, possibly. I don't know. I'd rather see Shazam and Black Adam go at it. I'm desperately waiting for that because I want to see The Rock playing Black Adam, or just having a Black Adam movie would be great. Haven't been reading Superman Rebirth stories where he has his child, because I really like. Damn it. Yes, I have actually. Having Superman have his son there and having the sons of Superman and Batman team up is quite interesting. It's cute and enjoyable. I like Superman being there. I was heartbroken when the New 52 Superman died, per se, because it's like, all right, why? Um, Not bringing him back, or where the hell is he kind of thing, is weird. The the Clark Kent that's running around, I honestly think he's a clone of some sort. I haven't read the last three issues, but that is something I honestly intend on doing by the end of the week because I want to read it before New Year starts. Please review superhero shorts made by uh, Isma Hawk. I wish I'd do one with them. I don't mind doing one. Don't worry, man. Love your stuff. See you soon. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Um, meant to do it. It's okay. That one left an impact. Trust me. I will check out the superhero shorts. If you want to text them and say, hey, look, I'm interested in doing something with them, that's fine. Where is he at? Is he based in the States? And if so, where? Because I don't know. What I'm trying to work on right now is a actual opening theme, two opening themes, one standard and one for when I'm doing actual video work to post up because the one I had before crashed and everything on that hard drive is gone. So I'm reworking it. And one of my friends is trying to think of an idea to help me out with that. I really do appreciate everybody taking the time to join into the live stream. And I know it's not uh, the best of times over there. It's actually quite late because even here it's what 1:50 in the afternoon. So for most of you, it's like maybe midnight or 8 o'clock. And for that, I apologize. But thank you for tuning in. What's my thoughts on Doctor Strange? All right, so I'm going to speak freely. This will be I may or may not include a spoiler. Sorry. So in general, Doctor Strange, I thought it was interesting. I like that they did it to the point where it's part of the Marvel universe, but very separate. It's on its own. My issues with it were mainly that I don't feel his character um, learned enough, and I don't mean in the form of magic. I mean as in the form of humility. I don't think he learned enough. It didn't portray as much as I would have liked, but I'm not hating it either because I think they did a really good job with it. Anytime you're dealing with things like magic and tech, it's really hard to translate that on screen without it making looking corny or cheesy. And I think they did a really good job of it. The cheats that they use for uh, the magic going through the city and jumping from one corner to another and that kind of thing was nice. It was Inception-esque, but they also used some other techniques that aren't seen in Inception as well as other movies, so I thought that was cool. Um, do you know? Don't know if you want spoilers for the Flash TV show, or who's going to be on the last episode. Ooh, who's going to be on the last ep of season 3? Usually I don't like spoilers, but I don't mind if you tell me. NB. All right, thanks. I will look you up online. Um, I think I was my favorite superhero movie this year. I'm not sure if that was a typo or not, but if it wasn't a typo, said that was pretty funny. Oh, okay. Designer for digital artwork. Sweet. New Zealand, and it's 550. Oh, wow. Nice. Hey, how is it there in New Zealand? It's funny. My friend actually does costume design and purchasing, so he was actually the person that put together all the costumes for Ghost in the Shell. So if you look on my Instagram, there's a really tall Japanese guy that's standing next to me in a hat and a long coat. That's Kosuke. He's one of my closest friends. He's the one that was doing that. He also did the costume design and stuff like that for the fashion show at the Tokyo Game Show when we announced that I'm in Metal Gear Solid 5. And I did the little fashion show for that, and that was kind of fun. Which villain do I like more, Xenomorph or Predator?
Probably Predator because there are more attachments and more things you can do with the character. Xenomorph, they're villainous, given you could put them in different forms. That's actually it. They've got whatever extremities they have, and then acid for blood. Terrifying as it is, that's it. What makes Predator scarier for me is outside of him being somewhat of a humanoid form, where you run and jump and climb or whatever. Weapons, oh man, just awesome weapons. Have I seen The Crow and V for Vendetta? Yes, I have. I like The Crow. As a matter of fact, they're remaking that with Jason Momoa. So I'm interested in seeing what they do with that. I like the Brandon Lee version. I thought it was pretty good for what it was for. Um, it's pretty hot today. Yeah, that's because it's summertime down there. It's wintertime up here. I'd actually rather be in New Zealand. It's one of the countries I actually want to visit before taking the bucket, just because of on the fanboy side, TV shows and productions that were filmed there. I think the locations were absolutely gorgeous. From friends that I know that have been there, that enjoyed not just food but also the landscape and the people that they've met and have become really good friends with. Everyone that I've met has said that they've had a very good experience while being there. So it's just left a lasting impression on me since I was like what 13. And being here, I'm so close, and I have yet to go because every time I leave, for some reason, I end up in the States instead of in that direction. I have met most of the people um, from several productions down there, and I really, really enjoyed it and have a lot of respect for anyone into business, but they were really kind, and I enjoyed it. So that's one of the places I hope I get the chance to visit. Apparently, a new speedster called the Accelerator Man will show up for season 3. Accelerator. Wait a second. Accelerator Man. Hey, Dwan, Accelerator Man. Isn't that another version of? Yeah, never mind. It is another version of the Flash from Earth 19. Appreciate it. Both of you answered my question right before I could ask it, and I saw it posted. um, as far as living and working in New Zealand, have you ever been to Japan, and do you have any plans on visiting? Dwan, as far as art and design, right now, what are you working on? Same thing for you, Manoj. What are you guys working on right now? And as far as TV shows, are there any TV shows out right now that you guys recommend? I've seen the first quarter to first half of Van Helsing, which is pretty good. I love Vikings. Um, that's one of my favorite shows, just because it goes in some really weird places. And Lagatha, yeah, that's my girl. She's badass. Um, I can't wait for Game of Thrones coming on. Holiday trip for a high school Japanese classroom. Nice. Do you know when? And yes, you, Manoj. Um, what are you working on now? And Sid, well, if you make it to Japan, shoot me a message if you're in town at the time. Maybe get a chance to meet you, say hi. It's always interesting to meet new people. Van Helsing, hot garbage, hot garbage. Rick and Morty, best TV show. So many references. All right, I'll check it out. So I probably might meet in Japan. Yeah, that'd be great. Seriously, just let me know. Uh, you didn't like Van Helsing, Dawn? Which is better, Van Helsing or what is it, Z Nation? Z Nation it's a hard watch for me around October. Okay, yeah, I'll be back by then. That works. Um, Z Nation is a hard watch for me just because I watched, I think it was the first episode, and the actor that's on Lost, who plays Michael, who just for whatever reason he just a weird character. He dies because of a baby. Ugh, it's sad. I understand the baby got turned into a zombie, but you got the baby turned into a zombie and it's running around in an enclosed space. Dude, just leave. You don't need to be in there. What if you have a problem killing a child, which is a good thing if you have a problem with that, then you don't need to be in there in the first place. Am I wrong? Yes, both are hot garbage. I know. Van Helsing, I haven't seen enough of it to be like, okay, it's great or it's bad. Um, Seems rip off of Resident Evil. Oh, really? That I didn't know. Um, but I can kind of understand it because the Resident Evil series is. It seems like it's coming to a close, but they could have a spin-off or some type of renewal to it. Just the way it ended, I thought was good. Would appreciate to see episode 8 next year. You know what? If you're here in Japan when that comes out, I will be more than happy to go watch it with you because I'm definitely going to see it. I will say, as far as movies, um, Disney has done a great job of putting out Star Wars movies at the end of every year up until, was it 2023 or 25, something like that. I'm happy with that because the way that Episode 7 picked up new fans and kind of refreshed the franchise itself, whether people enjoyed the story or not, I like that it brought new people, and I enjoyed the cast. But then also Rogue One was a really good movie, as sad as it was, and kind of frustrating at the end. I have gripes. Get to that another time, but I think that they're doing a good job. So I'm hoping that Episode 8 ends up being just as strong as those two. The funny memes out there is like, who's going to lose a hand in Episode 8? I thought was just funny. Um, Bouncing off the comment my brother made, am I going to buy Resident Evil 7? Yeah, I probably will just because I like the games. I did go see the movie, and the movie was actually pretty entertaining. I was happy that they were able to clean up a lot of loose characters and storylines and stuff like that in this previous movie, so I'm happy. Exchange zombies with vampires. You got Van Helsing. Yeah, but the vampires in Van Helsing seem kind of like they seem more like uh, what is it? What are the beings called in Blade when you don't fully transition? For whatever reason, I can't think of it. They seem more like that as opposed to like full-on vampires. Given, yes, they do call them vampires. There were a lot of action sequences in Resident Evil that were in a lot of great movies. Yeah, of course, that's playing into the similar but different thing. That happens a lot. Even Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and 2, they took a lot of action sequences from Wong Fei Hung, Once Upon a Time in China Part 1 and 2. So, given I love those movies, but seeing Pirates of the Caribbean and them using it is like, oh, okay, well, I understand because it was popular. Hell, even Arrow, season 1, when he goes to rescue Steel, he basically comes in and is manhandling people all down that hallway. That sequence is pretty much the same sequence from Raid: Last Redemption, which I enjoyed. That's a good movie. Very bloody, but a good movie. Fight scenes were amazing, but it's one of those where you hit someone that hard. Seriously, are they getting back up? Resident Evil ripped off. Yeah. Where am I? Oh, hey Matthew. I'm in Tokyo. So right now, as it stands, and for the past several years, I am based in Tokyo. That's why it's easy for me to catch up to Akasan and see him all the time because we are actually not that far from each other. So that's why we end up doing reactions and things together because we're close. As a matter of fact, well, actually, he's at work right now, isn't he? That's sweet. Yay for us. That's from Cali. World of Cali. Miss you too, girl, and Merry Christmas. And some people are enjoying the Tokyo Trinity, which makes me happy because it means we're having a positive effect on someone somewhere. Um, Give me one sec. I'm going to post a picture about the stream. Yeah, just live streaming. I think that worked. I think the memory of my phone is getting a little too heavy because it's moving really slow. Anyways, next figure that I'm going to buy. Well, I will tell you to stay tuned. Right before New Year's, I'm going to be posting a what do you call it? Unboxing. A couple of unboxing coming up soon. Have I played The Last Guardian yet? No, I haven't. But that is a that's a good thing to check out. Ooh, if any, dude, I'm gonna have so many. I'm gonna have no time between Battlefield 1, Final Fantasy 15, and going back to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm gonna have literal and packing no time. Live stream now. Boom, boom. Just because there's no time. Callie just posted her Frosted Flakes her Frosted Flakes picture. That's adorable. So no, I'm not at home, Sid. I'm actually in the office doing the live stream, and I'm quite happy with it here because I've got more space. I've got nothing but boxes and stuff packed up at home. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Moving the studio. So once that happens, hopefully everything will be done the first or second week of January, and then I'll show you guys the new studio. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm not looking forward to it because it's a lot of work. But hey, it'll be worth it, I guess. Landon is starting Wushu training. Hey, nephew. So Landon's my nephew, and he's absolutely adorable, and I'm glad he's starting Wushu training. Make sure that he stretches properly, okay? Game-wise, what games do you guys recommend I try out there? Because right now, like I said, I'm playing Battlefield 1, and I'm enjoying it. I had some issues with my PlayStation where it wasn't cooperating and playing Blu-rays, which is kind of annoying. He's mastered Toad, Snake, and Scorpion disciplines. That's funny. Now he needs to work on Tiger. Yeah. Hey, Matthew, whereabouts are you? Are you stateside? Are you based in Europe, New Zealand, Australia? Whereabouts are you? And Dwan, I need to see some festive pictures of my nephew, so make sure you send those. Just saying. And yes, I'll send some of the jail as well. As far as work on this side, there are some projects that I'm really looking forward to telling you guys about. Hopefully, I'll be able to tell more coming up at the beginning of this upcoming year. Injustice 2 is coming out soon. Yes, I'm looking forward to it for two reasons. There are two characters in the Injustice 2 game that I really want to play. Three, but one of them was in the first one. Obviously, I want to play Superman and see if he's changed or not. Oh, wow, Colorado. Oh, yeah, and Merry Christmas to you guys, anyone out there. And Happy Holidays. Supergirl and Atrocitus, Red Lantern. I love the Green Lantern series, and I'm a big Red Lantern fan. Having a Red Lantern John Stewart in the movie would be awesome. People have cosplayed that character so many times. He's not really used in the comic books, I know, but I like the idea. Um, Superman with martial arts skills. Would this not be unfair? No, it wouldn't be unfair. That would be smart, especially if they're doing anything like they do in the comic books, where he uses his solar flare, and for 24 hours he's got to recharge unless he's like dropped into the sun. That's fine because then he can still protect himself. So him training with Batman and any other person who's good at hand-to-hand combat, I think, is smart. That, and you can't always rely on just brute strength. You got to use tactic and skill. Given Superman could punch a hole through a planet. Sometimes you need to be better at doing things, not just using brute strength. Superman or Hulk. Um, DC or Marvel, and why? I'm one of those people where I'm like, enjoy what you like. If you like characters in the Marvel universe, you should enjoy it, and DC characters, you should enjoy it, or just enjoy both. I'm more of a DC person, mainly because I grew up with more DC in the house, outside of X Men and a few odds and ends. More of DC, and where I was living, there was more of that influence around me, as opposed to Marvel. Does that mean I don't like Marvel? Not at all. Uh, I like that there are characters out there that people can relate to, no matter which company it's with. For me, my initials are also DC, so it kind of hits home even deeper for me. I enjoy entertainment. If there's something out there that is good for that person, I say go for what your heart says. Enjoy it for what it is, because I do. I'm going to. Um, why shy away from a character or a property because your friends may not be into it? I think is kind of silly. If you like it, enjoy it. Do I think it would be cool if they did a Green Lantern movie where Hal Jordan goes crazy and obtains all the Lantern rings, becomes evil? Oh, you mean like in the comic books? um, I think it could be interesting. The only reason I'm not for it immediately is because I think they need to take the attention from Hal Jordan and put it on other lanterns. So them doing the Green Lantern Corps movie, I think it's a smart move. It gets the marketing part out of the way. As far as story and things, you get other characters involved. You shine a light on other characters, pun included and not included, and it leaves it open to where you can do more with the story. Going from there and having Hal Jordan losing his mind and collecting all the lantern rings, I think would make a really good ending or part two. I think the first one would be a better build. Crossover films, I'm not really too keen on crossover films because it depends on what properties and how it's done. Because you have people that are like, depending on who the writer is, if you get, let's say, Captain America versus Batman on the Marvel side, oh, he'll beat the crap out of Batman. But on the DC side, you'll have people say, no, Batman should win. That is just kind of silly. The Justice League versus the Avengers, and yes, I did see the Wolverine versus Wonder Woman beatdown, and I loved how they did that. I thought it was one of the best ones, and Wonder Woman coming out at the end, I think was appropriate. As far as the Justice League versus Avengers, there's a JLA versus Avengers comic book. I want to say it's about Wildstorm. I actually have it. I got to check to see which company did it, but it's it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it for what it was. I liked how the characters are fighting there, and how Superman ends up with Captain America's shield and Thor's hammer. I just thought it was funny. Um, Not dissing any Marvel character, so no one get upset. But I liked how they did it in the story. I thought it was interesting. As far as a live action crossover movie, Again, the reason I'm not too keen on that because it depends on a writing and what characters are used. If they have a crossover like, say, the Blue Beetle and Iron Man, cool, because the two of them, their armors, so to speak, are somewhat relatable. I can understand that. Would be a massive blockbuster if done right. Yes, it would, but again, that goes into if it's done correctly. Because if you lean too much on one side or the other, people get upset. I was born in the States. I've just been living here for the past 10 years, and most people don't understand. Most people couldn't understand my accent when I got here, so I had to learn to make it relatively flat so people could understand me. That, and it made it easier for when I'm speaking in Japanese because I have less of an accent when I'm speaking in Japanese. Um, Having a Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel movie would be kind of interesting. Whose movies do I prefer, MCU or DC, and whose comics do I prefer, Marvel or DC? Interesting questions. I prefer movies as a whole because I'm an entertainer and I love the idea of free range with characters and acting. I do like that the DC movies tend to be a bit more darker, or a bit darker, excuse me, a bit more darker, jeez. They tend to be a bit darker. But on the opposite side, I like the Marvel movies because a lot of my friends like that they're a bit lighter. There's a lot of comedy and things that are in there. So I think both sides do a decent balance. I do hope that the DC movie side gets stronger and does more movies, specifically not just Batman. I want to see other characters. I love that they're doing Batman and things, and I've loved the Batman movies for what they are. But I want to see more characters on the big screen. Uh, Comic wise, I used to read both. I've been reading DC for ages, but actually both. I've been reading both, but recently more DC than Marvel, mainly because of the writing and some of the things that have happened with Marvel, um, like just Captain America being part of Hydra and all that kind of stuff. I understand why they did it and so on and so forth, but it's one of those just like, I could use something else. It wasn't. It didn't catch me as much as I thought it would. So yeah, I am more of a DC person, but not. You know, I'm not against Marvel. I'm one of those people where I enjoy good stories, no matter how it's told. Um, Marvel currently owning DC in movies, but DC owning Marvel in TV. I will say, well, yes and no, Dwan. Yes, in the simple fact that Marvel has more movies out than DC does that's within the same universe. Um, Given we've had several Batman movies, uh, the Marvel Universe has more comic book based movies that are within the same universe. That is true. The television series is definitely all DC. Um, Netflix and the Marvel tie ups have been good. They've been enjoyable for what they are. I do think that the first season of Jessica Jones should have been like 8 episodes, and then the last few episodes should have been leading into the second season. It felt a little stretched. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it felt a little bit stretched for me. Um, Luke Cage was good. I enjoyed it. There were a few too many, a few too many characters using the N word a little too free rangely, and I was like, seriously, not every, not pulling the race card or anything, but not every black person out there says or needs to use it to get the point across. I thought it was overused. Daredevil, I like the way it is. It seems like the most balanced out of all of them. Having other characters appear in Daredevil would be pretty interesting. The DC TV shows that are on CW, I love them. They're great. They're campy when they need to be. They've got great action when they need to. They're emotional when they need to. I think the balance is really good from the beginning, but also now on all four, it's like they have the same writing group on all four shows, and I think what they're doing has been really good. You just saw Batman v Superman and liked it. Nice, Sean. Oh wait, is that Sean? I think it is. It may be. Um, Seeing that movie, did you watch the Ultimate Edition or the theatrical edition? If you didn't see the Ultimate Edition, that's the version I recommend seeing because it has more story and it shines a different light on the Clark Kent Superman character. I think it's done better. Not that it changed the movie drastically, but I think that's the version that should have been released in the theater. DC shows are much better on TV than Marvel shows. Yes, that's true. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., unfortunately, is like, bleh, and that's about it for me. Do I think superhero movies will ever stop happening? And when do I think it'll happen? I don't think it'll happen anytime soon because, as it stands, that is the money maker. I do think that they will have some changes where they will be making more in a darker tone, based in supernatural and or magic base is what we will start leaning towards for a couple reasons. One, yes, Doctor Strange, and two, because you have Zatanna and other characters in the DC universe that people are dying to see on the big screen and on television. The only reason Marvel is able to push out so much movies is really only because of Disney. Yeah, that's true. Um, Disney has uh, Disney has the money. I mean, if you have the money, why wouldn't you use it to make out as much as you can? They're really good. Marvel has more successful movies than DC. Can't deny that. No, I don't deny that. But I do agree. Part of that is also because of what Sid is saying, that it's because of the backing with Disney. They're able to put out more at once. And that's fine. It is what it is. Um, I am looking forward to the DC properties coming out like Aquaman, The Flash. If once it gets another director, they can't find one, hand it over to me. I'll take care of it. I'll do it, and I'll do it justice. Um, no puns intended. Wonder Woman, Justice League, all those movies I'm really looking forward to seeing. I want to see Shazam because I want to see The Rock play his character before he's like, I don't want to do it anymore. Good to see you, Sean. Yeah, the Ultimate Edition was long, but it did make more sense. When you see me on TV in Japan, SoftBank, you're shocked. Oh wait, let me all. Hey, we're all working hard, man. So do what you got to do. Just stay positive. It's not going to be hard, and anything worth having is not going to be easy. Um, what do I think is Jason Momoa playing Aquaman? I think it's a great idea because it's taking the character and going in a completely different direction. There's a lot of people that like the blonde-haired Arthur Curry, but they aren't happy with the direction that he's been going in the animated series and things of that nature. And the pilot that they had was not really great. I think having an actor that looks very different physically from the character and going in a different direction may actually be a positive step in building new fans and making it better, possibly. If it's not Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, who would you play it? Whoo! That's for Tyrone. Magnus. Am I excited for Justice League Dark? I am excited for Justice League Dark because that is a chance to do something very different. With the animated series, I think it's interesting because it gives new light on characters and things that haven't been done yet. If they had a Justice League Dark live action, I'm happy for that because same thing, we get to see magic, supernatural beings, demons, all this stuff that usually isn't in the standard superhero style movies. And it having a darker theme means you can give it a different rating. You can make it light and for kids, but being realistic, we're dealing with demons and entities of like dark forms. Do you really want it to be campy and childlike, or do you want to have it where it's like at least PG-13 or R rating, so you have free range for language and other things? I think that would be more interesting. I can't wait to see The Rock do it. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, don't you leaving? Don't go so soon, homie. No, just kidding. If you gotta go, I understand. Love you. Give my nephew a hug and kiss. Tell my sister-in-law said what's up, and I'll talk to you soon. That's for my brother. He's leaving right now. But if it's not Jason Momoa, who would you guys have? Who would you guys have playing Aquaman? That's something I would like to know, mainly because he's an interesting character. I think Aquaman could be one of those really, really badass characters if he is done the right way, whether it's Jason Momoa or not. As a matter of fact, come to think of it, the guy, what's it, Joe? I can never pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to murder it here on camera. But he's playing Deathstroke. Had they given him slightly lighter hair, doesn't have to be like bleach blonde, but slightly lighter hair, do you think he could have played Aquaman? I know some friends that are upset about DC going the dark route. What are my thoughts? Hey, Courtney. They will revive Green Lantern. As it stands now, Green Lantern Corps is what they're focusing on. Whether it will be John Stewart or Jessica Cruz leading, I'm not sure. I think having John Stewart and Jessica Cruz leading together, I think would be a really interesting start. Or having Jessica, John, and Baz. I'd actually like to see Guy Gardner on there also. As far as DC going the dark route, I like that they're going the dark route. Them having both would be great. So the Flash being somewhat of a lighter themed movie, somewhat fun, I think would be great. And having the darker tones, I think, are good because Marvel's doing the opposite. They have dark-ish tones, but most of it, the topics are fairly dark, but the feel of the movies aren't. Like having Common maybe 50 Cent's Green Lantern. Having Common or 50 Cent as Green Lantern, I don't like. I'm not against those actors. I think they're talented people. 50 Cent as Green Lantern, I don't see it. Having him as a Green Lantern, maybe playing Baz, maybe, but I wouldn't have him there. Maybe Korg, that would be interesting. Or having him playing Atrocitus as one of the Red Lanterns, that would be interesting. Common, no, because he's in Suicide Squad, and I would rather have him stay over there and pick a different actor altogether. DC has done a lot of race changes in the TV shows like Jimmy being African American and Iris West, which I really appreciate them doing, and also the involvement of same-sex relationships too. Yes, I like that they are being more dynamic with their casting and storylines. Courtney, I would probably say Killing Lutz because Jai Courtney or Jay Courtney has already played Captain Boomerang. Again, I would rather cast a different actor altogether. But I see what you're saying because I did ask who would you play, who would you have as Aquaman, and thank you for the comment. As far as the TV shows go, Iris West being African American was interesting, especially since in the New 52 they were doing a bit of the race changing and mixing and things around. I thought was nice because it gives a new feel and dynamic to characters in general, and it's making things more modern and all around. I would like to think that Zack Snyder would release a Justice League in early January of the new year, but dude, if he had to guess, when do you think he'll release the first Justice League trailer? I think he might. I also like Killing Lutz. I think that he might release it, if not New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. Michael B. Jordan is already the Human Torch. I would rather keep him there and do a better story. Don't worry about the typo. Phantom Blue. Phantom Mike Blue. It's not a big deal. I typo all the time. Someone that could pull off Lamar's voice very well. Nice. All right. Interesting. Do you like the more grittier Aquaman as opposed to the blonde Adonis type? I do like the more grittier Aquaman only because, like some of the other people that were talking about Peter Parker about an hour ago, you grow up with the character and things. Of course, you have love for that character. It's nice to see a little change or a little dynamic mixed in every now and then. I like both versions of Aquaman. The Aquaman that was speaking like he was from Shakespeare was a bit weird, but otherwise, I think he's a pretty powerful character. The what is it? Flashpoint Paradox version of Aquaman was just badass. So, kind of mixing that with Jason Momoa's version, I think is cool. Hey, Sean, no problem. Rest well, man. And I've been on this stream for like already time really flies. Yeah, it does, Sid. I'm going to log out in a bit because I need to actually finish a design um, for another project and to do some editing so I can post a video later. Um, but I do appreciate everybody that logged in and has taken the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. Um, much love to you guys. Happy holidays to everyone. I will try and do another live stream before year's end coming up, and that one I will keep that posted on here for everyone to see. And yes, Sean, keep it super. So for that super crew, thank you so much. Appreciate it. For those that are in areas where it's really late at night, again, sorry for the late post, and thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys in the next couple days. Later. Well, actually, right before I finish, yes, I do think Melissa would be a good Supergirl in the movies, just because she's got a good show, and I like how it is. Um, and yes, Mark, we do got to stick together because there are too many people out there that are just angry with each other just to be angry, or hating each other because, oh, you like Marvel, oh, you like DC, I can't be friends with you. Well, why not? You love what you love. So, hey, if you like entertainment, enjoy it for what it is. If you're a Marvel fan, be a Marvel fan. If you're a DC fan, be a DC fan. If you're a fan of just being able to go sit down at the movie theater and enjoy it with your friends, then that's what you should do because that's what I'm here for. Thanks. Leaving a little message for you on here. And see you soon. And as always, yes.